Dennis Morrison. Next to me here is my little buddy Gil Albert, and oddly quiet, though his lips are moving. But this past week, we went on location to Court Street Antiques, and you'll see that video shortly that we took. But first, a little background. We took a lot of video and photos of an amazing lumber mill that was invented here in Saginaw during the 1860s. The device was invented by Wicks Brothers Manufacturing in East Saginaw, Michigan, and it was a large machine that could cut logs into boards in a single pass. That dramatically increased the output of board feet, and that machine transformed the lumber boom for Saginaw. Now, the lumber boom began in Michigan in the 1830s as mills began to appear in the Saginaw Valley. And Saginaw was estimated to have in the neighborhood of 3 million acres of white pine virgin forest. Not counting its tributaries, the total length of the river is 864 miles long. Not very long, really, but an awful lot of board feet of timber there. It was a red letter day, or year, for Saginaw in 1882 when its peak production astonishingly reached over 1 billion board feet. And a lot of that was due to the machine built by Wicks and the subject of this program. And I might add that lumber went into construction not only in building the state of Michigan up, but the United States, and I'm sure went to other parts of Canada and the world. Now, Wicks Brothers manufactured the much honored Wicks gang, as well as all manner of heavy machinery for lumbering, for the lumbering company. And the company was created in the 1860s by Henry D. and Edward N. Wicks, and later they were joined by Henry T. and William J. Wicks. Wicks made only 4 of these machines, and I believe they were all used right here in Michigan, though I may be wrong on that. Now, in the 1970s, a very talented man, whose name, as far as I know, is lost to history, created a 1/8 working replica of those great board cutting beasts. As you'll see in a moment, the model is finely crafted, and from judging by the photos, and the gentleman who made it only had photos to work from. As far as can be ascertained, he didn't have the original plans, he only had photographs. So I'm sure that you'll agree with me that that makes it simply quite amazing. A very talented man. I wish I knew his name. Well, so come on, let's hop over to Court Street Antiques, where Gil and I will talk with the owner, Jennifer, who I've known for many, many years, a wonderful lady. She has a great husband, Jim, who operates the shop with her, and what an amazing selection of antiques and mid-century items. But I'll be back at the end of the program, so please, stick around. All right, Jennifer, could you move over this way a little bit? Please, Jen.
She's going to be in the camera. You're going to be on camera too.
You never said this part, Dennis. Huh? You never told me this part.
Well, it's like the unexpected. We're at Court Street Antiques today in Saginaw, Michigan, and 5 years ago I did a video here with Jennifer, and it's just impossible to believe that it's been 5 years already and all the things that have changed in that time. But incredibly, the inventory 5 years was pretty amazing, pretty awesome. And it's hard to believe, but it's not just growing, it's grown in quality, which I didn't think was possible. And if you want to give yourself a treat during these times, plan a day trip to Saginaw and make Court Street Antiques your first stop. It'll be your best stop. So we're going to look today at a really cool antique item that came into the shop, about 2 weeks ago, you said?
Yep.
And it has to do with lumbering history here in Saginaw. And let them take the cover off, or do you want me to help?
Well, I think we can get it.
We can get it, yeah.
Ready? Nice and slow so we don't do any damage. There we go. Ooh, Jesus.
I'm gonna do this. Ooh. What are we looking at, Gil?
We're looking at an invention that was invented in Saginaw by the Wicks brothers back during the lumbering era that revolutionized the cutting of wood. Okay. You know, instead of running the log through and getting one plank at a time, this thing would do the whole log at one time, and it sped up the process by making millions of board feet a day.
Okay. Now, the guy that made this, it's obviously a miniature reproduction.
1/8 scale, it said, yeah.
And he made just 4 of them, you said?
Yeah, that's what I was told by Jen.
We're not going to turn it on because,
We were asked not to.
yeah, and it looks like it's really durable. It was built beautifully. But
The guy that built it from a picture.
wow.
Or maybe a couple pictures, you know, different angles and such.
The detail is amazing. Can you imagine the sound that it must have made?
Yeah, I'm sure people went deaf running this thing, you know?
So I was reading earlier that between 1850 and I think it was 1882,
Yeah.
there was over 14 million acres of white pine along the Saginaw River and its tributaries. I hope you enjoyed this program, the replica of this amazing machine, a machine that was truly a beast. I'd like to thank my good buddy Gil for suggesting this story. Gil and I have shared many of our adventures with you, hunting artifacts and relics over the years here on this channel, and I think Gil should be on more of the videos, and let me know if you agree. I think he's too hard on himself. So anyways, then also I want to thank Jennifer and Jim from Court Street Antiques. What I said during the video about their shop is true. If you're coming to Saginaw, and even if you're not, plan a day trip to Saginaw and check them out. An amazing antique shop, truly. So I thank them for letting us do the video there. And thank all of you for joining us. I appreciate your being here, and as you know, I love all of you very much. I appreciate your comments. Give me a thumbs up, please, if you feel so inclined. I really appreciate them, and they make a difference to my channel. They make a difference to me emotionally, because I'm crazy when I don't get them. And I hope that you all stay well, and God willing, we'll be back here next week when I'm hoping to give you a look at medicine back in the day, including a very early prescription that I have from the colonial era back in the 1700s. God bless you all.